Yeah, not one of them living ones. Whose is that one?
I did that. He was sitting over here from the.
Whose name is that? Whose name?
Evelyn, Bull.
Y'all.
It worked?
Yeah. I can
Okay.
get it. Sound like it.
I'm not at work. Okay. I'm just an old lady. Thank you. Yeah, I'm kind of like.
When I get home.
But that's a good thing, isn't it?
I'll check on that.
You're the one been doing all of that.
You ain't gotta have. I keep.
You gotta sing to it, man. You gotta sing to it, all right.
The worst,
Just
the worst thing we can
say.
is you and
Good evening.
good evening.
I'd like to call the Nash County Board of Education meeting to order. You know, we are blessed to see so many young people in here today. This is what it's all about. And I just like to just say this because one of our fallen heroes who's gone on, Miss Ann Edge, would say, make the main thing, and that's about kids. Everything else on this agenda is about children, educating our children. And I am so excited to see the programs that Nash County, under the leadership of Dr. Ellis and his wonderful staff, has done with that Spanish immersion group. So tonight we have a very special group. Senor Yanez, is she here? Hey, hello. So I'm going to ask that if you would come forth and bring your class to actually lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and what they've worked on all year long in that Spanish class. I was in that class this past week and I was talking English, and the class, some of the students says, no, we don't talk. They spoke in Spanish. We don't talk English. They sort of rebuked the teacher, said, we don't talk English. We talk Spanish inside this class.
Just didn't want you to talk at all.
Franklin, I need a security guard. We got-
It's so special.
So we're gonna do Spanish first, and then we'll do it in English.
All right. Basic flag, flag. To the flag.
Todos parando la bandera para allá. ¿Ok? Parece derecho, mano al pecho. ¿Listo? Y el juramento a la bandera en español. Primero en español. ¿Ok? 1, 2, 3.
Man.
Ahora lo vamos a decir en inglés. Mano al pecho, mira la bandera y lo decimos en inglés. 1, 2, 3.
You guys can be seated.
Espérate, espérate. Ok. Listo, a la 1, a las 2, a las 3.
Buenas noches. Estamos felices de estar aquí. Gracias.
Thank you. Thank you. You did a great job. Oh.
Oh, take them in a line. Let me go around there. Take us,
So many,
yeah,
I
I
don't
don't want to do
start. Let them walk around. They got a treat.
Go around the way.
Treat, yeah, I go.
Wave your hand.
Yeah.
Come here.
All right, come on.
You got this, right? Got this, right? You can- That's all I know.
Great job, young man. Great job.
Thank you.
job.
Thank you so
Great
very
job.
much.
Great job.
Great
Thank you
job.
so
Great
very
job.
Way to
much.
go. Way to go.
Thank you so.
Thanks for a good
Great
job.
job.
Ooh, I like that shirt. I like that Carolina shirt.
Great job.
Very good. Thank
Thank you.
Y'all.
That's a good change.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Young lady.
Great job, sweetheart. Great job.
Thank you.
Awesome. Great job.
Go watch the ball game tonight.
Great job. Thank you. I got my Spanish.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Did a good job. Thank you. Good job. Thank you, young lady. Very good job. Thank you. Smile. Thank you. Good job, man.
I can't remember
Thank you.
half
Good
of
job.
And I can say, you know.
There you go. That starts it and ends it. That's a good thing. Oh.
You're welcome. Thank you.
The one return. Where are the 9?
We're done. We gotta go home now. You can't talk that.
My water. I open my water.
I guess I can have it.
Yeah, I think that would be.
You blame?
I don't remember opening. That probably be.
I'm trying not to drink and I'm limited as to my intake, so I'm trying not to drink it. I want some though.
And I got a conversation with him.
That was a nice treat, Bill.
It was good.
I love the light that is in the room right now.
I know, that's like Ann would say, the main thing.
That's special treat. How do you know this man?
But I wish I had stuck with it.
Bill, we just might as well adjourn because you ain't gonna talk that.
All right, there
Can I
you
get a
go.
motion?
You ain't gonna talk that.
You making the motion? You make the motion?
That's
Okay.
not.
All right.
But that's gonna be hard to beat right there.
But you know what, like Miss Ed says, make the main thing what, Miss
The
Ed?
main thing.
And it's all about kids. As we go through everything else we're going through, we have discussions about certain things. Right, I see you laughing over there. But it's all about them kids, right? Making sure that they're in position to do what they need to do. All this other stuff somewhat sort of like insignificant. As long as we're educating and training our kids. And I think the superintendent and his staff are doing a phenomenal job. Phenomenal, great job. Okay, with that said, I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
So move.
Second.
It's been properly moved by Mrs. Ms. Davis, second by Sharonda Bullock. Questions or discussions? Hearing none, roll call. Chris Bishop,
Yes.
Franklin Lamb,
Yes.
Lake Dunton,
Yes.
Sharonda Bullock.
Yes.
Dr. Washington.
Yes.
Evelyn Bullock,
Yes.
Donovan Tavis,
Yes.
Ricky Jenkins,
Yes.
Dean Edwards.
Yes.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is recognition. Dr. Ellis?
So, Mr. Sharp, I believe you're going to be recognizing someone tonight, so I believe it'll be two, so you're going to be doing that.
Ms. Wiggins, where are you?
I went out there with the group.
I just want to say the brainchild behind what you just witnessed tonight was Ms. Wiggins, and she has been doing a phenomenal job, and she passed the baton. Folks, that's what we celebrate every day. That's what we should be celebrating every day. Yeah. Thank you. So is she coming back? He's following her kids.
You couldn't help but
But that was great, right? I mean, to see a room full of kids. And I'm sure Miss Edge is smiling right along now because that's what she's always talked about, making the main thing the main thing. And for those of us that's been on this board for a length of time, we know it's about them. So we thank them, we thank the teachers. So while we're waiting for, I also want to give a recognition on behalf of the Nash County Board of Education. We lost a great man of faith, a great man who loved children this past year. Mr. Reggie Silver, will you come up, please? I just want to recognize Mr. Silver for the great things that he has done for the Nash County public school systems. So on behalf of the Board of Education in our area, Mr. Silver, we have a plaque for you. And the plaque reads this: with our deepest appreciations, we hereby honor Reginald Silver for the distinguished and unselfish service as a Board of Education member for Nash County Public Schools 2010 to 2022. And we thank you for all of your service, sir.
I still hear the kids outside. They might be playing.
Okay, so what we will do is, Ms. Nancy Smith, you will represent Ms. Wiggins. So on behalf of our heroes, she truly is a hero. And her leadership over at Winstead in bringing this to fruition, and we are so proud of what they did. So would you kindly sort of give that to her?
Yes, I will.
You need to take a photo of her?
We can get Miss Wiggins. Right now, you have community partnerships.
I think as we go, community partnership, this is something that we added relatively new. We're really excited about that as well. We got the leader of STEP herself coming to share with us what they're doing inside the community. Pam.
I think there's a little PowerPoint to add some excitement, what I want to say. How about that? And I also brought copies of our impact report from last year, which I think will be helpful. But don't look at those while, I'm showing y'all this. I should have saved them for last, right?
That's okay. I'll make sure they don't look then. Or don't you look on the front?
He does. Granted.
Why's it gotta be like that?
Give it a test. This is a
Don't
test.
mind.
There you go. So I'm Pam Gould, Executive Director for STEP, which stands for Strategic Twin Counties Education Partnership. And I was thrilled to be invited to come here because I think it's really important, one, to keep you in the know as what STEP's doing. You guys are one of our partners. You're a financial sustainer. I think you need to know your return on investment. And the more you know about us, the more you can use your influence and be an advocate for our little nonprofit. But we think you get big bang for your bucks here. So tonight, what I'm going to do, because I've only been given just a little bit of time, is I'm just going to highlight 4 particular programs and projects. Of course, this is our mission and goals. And can you flip back that real quick? Just so you know that a lot of what we do is promote career awareness. We expand work-based learning experiences. We have worked very hard to make sure there's seamless pathways and industry credentials for our companies that are local, because our goal is to keep our talent here. And if our talent goes away to school, that they'll consider to come back here. And then we facilitate employer and education partnerships, and you'll see a lot of that. Matter of fact, we brought one tonight that'll follow me from Pfizer, my friend Wanda Mason. Okay, so the 4 we're going to look at real quick, I just want to touch on, we have a lot of projects, a lot of events we do, a lot of things, a lot of collaboration we do. But the first one I want to talk about is our Teachers at Work, Twin Counties. It is an extension of the governor's initiative. It is a really unique professional development experience for teachers. You can see a couple of those teachers there. And what they get to do, they actually get to work for 1 week in one of our local businesses or companies. And they are able to connect what our workforce needs and skills are to their classroom curriculum. This past year, we had 12 educators that went out into companies. And the impact of that is hundreds, if not thousands of students that were impacted by that. This was our 2nd year. We had a pilot year 2 years ago. And then of course, Rona came and we missed a year, but this year we were able to pull 12. The next one that I want to talk about briefly, and some of you attended this just happened March 25th, and I'm not going to talk a whole lot about this because Pfizer gave us the startup funds for this, and that is our Twin County Brick City Engineer Challenge. It was a Lego event. It was very energetic. It was great. It was awesome. We had 175 plus 3rd through 5th graders and their teachers for a really neat competition. And it was held at the Rocky Mount Event Center. You can see the kids were just so engaged and having a really good time learning. So, and like I said, sponsored by Pfizer. And so we hope to expand that program in years to come. And then the next one, this event has been around since 2018. It just gets bigger. And that is our Twin County STEM Design Challenge. And we added an invention convention component. And you'll notice everything's Twin Counties. So it's both school systems. Prep is involved. Wilson County joined us last year and they plan to join us next year. So it's really becoming a regional event. And we had about 150 plus 6th through 8th graders. You should recognize that guy, the back of him in that pink shirt, Danny Plowler. Pink's his favorite color, he's decided now. But we had 2 events, the STEM Design Challenge, which was downstairs in the event center. It was awesome. And then upstairs, we had a manufacturing event, invention convention, where we had placed 3D printers in all of your middle schools already. And those students actually create a product. They created a commercial and a marketing and business plan. It was kind of like a Shark Tank competition. So that was the first year for that. It was really pretty neat. And you can see your STEM design teams there creating their contraption. This is the best I can do. And then they coded little Q-bots that we also provided for your schools to run through a maze. The thing that I want to mention here when we talk about facilitating business and education partnerships, when I started this job, one thing that I really felt, and I'm a retired educator, so I've worked everywhere, was that we had just kind of, I felt like businesses and our community in general had kind of lost confidence in our public education and in our schools. And so we tried to create ways where we could bring our partners into our schools to see that it's not all bad. There's a lot of good. And these events definitely prove that. Each of our teams for Invention, Convention, and STEM Design, they are sponsored by a local company, and they collaborate for 3 months with consulting engineers there in their school, learning about teamwork, learning about design concepts, learning about the companies, and learning about careers. And just to bring attention to them, Cummins, Pfizer, ABB, Pine Tops, Hitachi Estimo, LS Cable and System, Barnhill Contracting, Kaba Ilco, and Edwards Incorporated. And then of the 20 judges, they came from 20 other companies. So just think about the touch points just on that one day alone with our students. Next. And then what's coming up next? This is our first year with this program, and it came out of a need. Last year, I had companies calling saying, can you help us? Can you help us? So we know that we have a workforce issue. And we also know that we have some graduating seniors who right now are not planning to go to a 4-year. They may or may not be planning to go to a 2-year. And we know that we have those students that want to go right into the workforce for different reasons. And so we are planning employer in the 4-year in these high schools on those dates. We are currently coordinating that. These are mini job fairs targeting our graduating seniors without a plan and our juniors who are looking for summer employment. And so what we did was we took your CTE pathways in each school. We provided those to our employer partners, and we will have at least 2 employers per pathway there. And the schools are working now to prepare those students with their resumes, making sure they have their credentials listed, because many of your seniors will graduate with credentials already under their belt. And so we think that this is just a really good way to give an immediate need to some of our business partners. Next. And then, it's very hard to measure impact with this, but I think it has to be said that a lot of what we do is we facilitate collaboration and we leverage resources that are already there to support what you already have in your schools and to expand that. North Carolina Business Committee for Education is part of the governor's initiatives, and we align with a lot of those, as well as NC apprenticeships, and we're getting some of those started in early childhood. And then these are just some of our companies who have foundations that help support our work. So I just wanted to make you aware of some of them. There's a lot, but I wanted to make you aware of some of them. On the back of our impact report, you can see some of our financial sustainers as well. Do you have any questions before I turn it over? Oh, let me tell you the winners, because y'all might be interested in that. So the Brick City, the grades 3 through 5, first place was Bailey Elementary, and third place was Bivenu. And then STEM Design, second place was Edwards Middle. And we didn't have anyone to place in our Invention Convention, but there's always next year. And everybody's already ready for next year, so that's a good thing. I'm also going to leave these because our Teachers at Work program, our externship, the application is open now, and we need teachers to apply. And it's not just for CTE, it's K through 12. They can make a connection through any grade level. So I'm going to leave these. If there's administrators that are here, all they have to do is scan this. We've made it very simple, but we definitely would love for y'all to pass these out to educators, to classroom teachers, okay? Wanda. Let me introduce Wanda Mason from Pfizer. That is just a wonderful community partner, not just for STEP, but for so many other organizations.
Thank you, Ms. Gold. Good afternoon or evening to everyone. As Ms. Gold said, I am Wanda Mason, and I am here representing Pfizer at Rocky Mount. And one of the main things that we absolutely love to do is to partner with our local communities in order to make sure that we are bringing not only an effort and an asset to the community, but we're also allowing that community to be an asset to us. So it should be a partnership. It should be a collaboration. And one of the main things that I believe in personally is that our local schools should be a part of that. We should not be a business within a community and not make sure that our school systems are not a part of that business, right? So ensuring that we are training up our youth to be prepared for the businesses and opportunities that are right there around them. And that is one thing that I am excited about. My background is in chemistry. I currently work within administration, so I'm part of our organizational leadership team there at the Rocky Mount site. And I have to tell you that there are a ton of hardworking, dedicated, wonderful people that work within that facility. People hear things all the time about Rocky Mount. I absolutely like Rocky Mount. I find it to be very engaging. I live within Wilson, so I'm excited that the Wilson County will be partnering with STEP very, very soon, so my children can be a part of it. But what Pfizer believes in is giving back. And when you give back, you always receive. So when you give outside of yourself, you always receive back in. So we are looking to have more and more talent. We're excited for the opportunities that you guys are placing in front of the students. I have to say it was amazing hearing our youngsters do the Pledge of Allegiance in multiple languages, right? So we want to just continue on with that viewpoint and that process. So not only in the education part, we were ecstatic to be the only, yes, I'm going to say it, Ms. Gold, the only sponsor for the Brick City Challenge. So we were excited about that. We had 17 different volunteers within our plant to be judges for that event, and it was fantastic. In addition, we do, of course, Meals on Wheels, Toys for Tots, our coat and winter clothing drives, some holiday food drives as well. So we like to ensure that in the, the community around us is a part of us so that we can be a part of them. So do you guys have any questions for Pfizer whatsoever? Anyone that I can answer? No? Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to just come before you and give you the chance to hear a little bit about us, and more importantly, for me to hear more about you guys. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you. The next section on our agenda is public input. And each month, a part of at least one regular scheduled board meeting, we set aside public comments as outlined in Policy Code 2310. During this time, there is no clapping, jeering, any other remarks, or calling out names. Anyone violating this policy will be subject to removal, and action may be taken in accordance with General Statute 143, 318-17. So we have tonight about 10 people who will be speaking on various topics, and we are excited about that. The very first person that's on our list is Mr. Michael Maiden from Mr. Michael Maiden.
Good evening. I made it just in time. First of all, I want to start off by addressing this board with a number of concerns that we have regarding the bidding process for the Rocky Mountain baseball field. And I want to start off by saying there is, by some parties, they want to make it seem like we're disgruntled because we did not receive the final bid. The fact of the matter, there were a number of irregularities in the process that have not been addressed before this board, and they do not want to address. They just want to make it seem like the final bid was the conclusion. Number one, There was conflict of interest by a sitting board member in Bill Sharp regarding,
We don't call names out in this.
by a city board member regarding the bidding process, conflict of interest. There was the person in charge of the administrative part of the bidding process who denied us the right to put our bid in on December 21st before the close of the bidding session. There was also a case where the city dropped out of the bidding process, which left us as the only qualified bidder in the race. And we were not notified, but they continued on with the bidding process. And there was also a case where the city paid by check in violation of the statute. So these are things that have not been addressed, and they have not called the administrator over the bidding process before this board to account for the fact that he did deny us the opportunity, because when we tried to make our bid, he made the statement, quote unquote, quote, "The city has put in an upset bid over your bid, and you have to wait till after the holiday break to when the new round of bidding to place your bid." That was on December 21st, the deadline, and within 30 minutes before the close of the bidding. Those are things that have not been addressed before this board, and that people know this, but they don't want to address this fact. And there's some other issues that we would like to bring before this board before any decision is rendered to award this property, the baseball field, to anyone, because it's within your duly and constitutional right to exercise your right to vote not to approve the baseball field being sold to any parties and or parties that will come before you on today. And we're here to express our concern on that. And because we only have 43 minutes, we will be back to further elaborate on that. Thank you.
Natleen or please, if I butcher that name, I'm so sorry.
Good evening, and thank you for allowing me an opportunity to address the board. My name is Natleen O'Ree, and I began my teaching career in Nash County, and I transitioned to Rocky Mount, which became Nash Rocky Mount, and somewhere along the line, it became back Nash County. However, at this time, I'm advocating for the map A of the redistricting map, because I feel that we've been through a lot of transition during this COVID period, and we're just coming out. And if we can keep things as close to normal, as close to how they've been for a little longer, you know, people will have a better opportunity to connect. I know we didn't have one of the meetings for public input, but I'm strongly advocating for map A to help maintain some stability in our districts. And if you would consider that, I'll be so happy as a former state employee. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Linda Fisher.
I want to build a bridge tonight. I know I'm late in the process and that there are many building requirements for the new Red Oak Elementary School, but I'm concerned about the welfare of the historic red oak trees on the school site. The community was named for those very old, tremendous trees. The grove has been there for at least 200 years. They were gifted on a 25-acre tract for the Red Oak Farm Life School by Jesse Thomas Jones in the early 1900s. Half the trees have been cut in the construction of the new school. Elementary students came up to me afterwards, aghast, with tears in their eyes. And they told me that they had seen the destruction from their classroom windows. They looked like they'd lost their best friend. My heart dropped. These old growth trees were and are, for the ones left, life friends to the 118 years of Red Oak School students. The Hall of Trees has offered shade, interest, and an inspiration to those that have passed under it. The plan for the entrance area in front of the new building is for a lengthy serpentine drive for carpoolers. 7 red oak trees grow in this designated area. It's behind the current Red Oak Elementary School, the one that's going to be torn down. The director of facilities, Mr. Davis, has agreed to spare one of these red oaks. I challenge you to save 4 of the greatest trees in that area between the folds of the driveways. 4 would constitute a grove. In addition, I urge you to apply for the champion tree status with the North Carolina Forestry Service, with historical significance being the basis. For generations, Red Oak has had very strong schools, perhaps the best in the county. The reasons are good leadership and supporting the community, to keep the great strength we need to address questions, refer questions to others if the answers are unknown, and listen to each other. I asked about the future of the famous red oak trees about 2 years ago, but I didn't receive any answers. I came to terms early on with the demolition of the school because I was informed about it, and it's man-made. Communication is important. Let us walk together now in making this new elementary school an embraced learning center. I'm not alone in this drive. I'm the only one here tonight, but about 500 people signed the petition to save the trees. Last sentence.
Thank you.
WRAL expressed to
Glenn Drone. Sir? I don't think the person who signed up is the person got to speak.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'll be emailing the last.
Glenn Drone?
Yeah.
Yes, my name is Glenn Drawn. Coach Maiden gonna take my 3 minutes to speak on my behalf.
Sir, you have to speak, not Coach Maiden. You have something you want to say?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm very disappointed in how the bidding process went on about the Municipal Stadium. You know, for 11 years, no one has bidded on the park, has asked anything about the park until Mr. Arrington came up with the idea of the plans, how he wanted to incorporate doing things for the kids in the community and our different things, implementing different programs. And I know when he did the proposal to the school board, I was watching on my TV, and you know, he did an outstanding job. That's when I told him I would be part of it. So then we had people bidding from everywhere. And then I feel like, you know, the runaround that he's getting as far as winning this baseball park is wrong. We need to do what's right. We elected y'all to do what's right. It look like some of you are not doing what's right. Thank you.
Angela Bryant, Mind Spring.
Good evening, board members. My name is Angela Bryant from Rocky Mount. And I'm here to speak on 2 things. One is the redistricting, and I hope some of you heard my remarks at more length at the public information session, but I'm just here to speak in support of alternative A. I understand that you have a committee who considered the matter and is recommending alternative A. I hope that's the case. So I'm not going to belabor the point. But alternative A preserves key communities of interest across the county, and in particular in the inner city neighborhoods, which are most underserved and most excluded in terms of power and regard in the system. And alternative A provides the most stability as compared to the current districts. Alternative A also has keeps the 4 districts in Edgecombe County, which means that there will be representation for those citizens and families who also are in close geographic context with the inner city neighborhoods in Nash County as well. So there is a community of interest around from those across those communities. And that helps to at least preserve the current voting strength under the current districts there. So that's just strongly commended. I had mentioned to you previously that alternative C has serious negative impact. So I hope that's not even on the table. But for the record, I just want to say that it has significant negative impacts for our communities. And I've laid that out. The other thing I want to do is thank you for being willing to put the information on the website, provide public information for us. We have citizens here who now understand what's going on, can support what you're doing. Without that, we would have not had a clue. We would have just left with accepting whatever you had done. And I want to encourage you to do that in the future. Put your meeting information on the website, create a mechanism. I think like at Nash County, I'm on a list or something. I sign up. I can get email notice of the meeting. I can sign up. I get press releases that they send out. And it helps for participation, especially now in this virtual environment. If I had a way to have the agenda and the documents ahead of the meeting, even if I were watching virtually, like Mr. Jerome said, he got interested in something because he was watching on YouTube. So if we had more information, we could provide more support for you both here in the work you're doing, but also in the community itself. And so I just want to plead with you. For years, I have begged the school district to create a way that we could not just have to go to the website, which is not that easy to navigate. It's got a lot on it, but it's not that easy, especially for old folks, you know. But where we can get a push notification, we can sign up and get an email or notice of key things. So thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Kim Koo.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Koo, and I live in the School District 5 of the Nash Public School System. There was some public hearing regarding the school redistricting, and I did make some remarks on the Google Web because it got canceled twice. But I do want to register that of the 3 proposals for the school redistricting jurisdiction, I also support Map A as the fairest map of all. Map A is more representative of the communities here in Rocky Mount, which makes up the greatest population density of the total Nash public school system. Looking at all the numbers and in discussions with other members of the community, Map A least dilutes the voices of the most marginalized communities in the decision-making processes of the public school system. It is the most representative of the current demographics of Nash public school system and takes into account minority voices. I also want to register my opposition to Map C as undermining the community's ability to be part of this same decision-making processes that affect our children in the public school system. It dilutes out area representation in certain Black neighborhoods using the excuse of numbers, adding in other neighborhoods which have nothing in common with inner city community concerns. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Willie Arrington.
I have been fighting you guys and being, as far as I'm concerned, jerked around since last June when I first made my presentation. Okay. There has always been an excuse for something to delay this. Okay. And when the city dropped out of their bidding, okay, we were the only bidders left. And as far as I'm concerned, okay, and the way I feel is we should have been awarded the ballpark. But what the lawyer told us is that it had to be run another 10 days, even though we had bid it. And in other words, it ran close to 20 days without a bid. Okay, and all of a sudden, here comes Nash, whatever, Holding. Okay, the same, we bid it, Nash Holding bid it, we bid it again. Okay, we bid it 3 times. You got about $7,000 of our money. Okay, when Nash Holding bid it, we bid it the last day when Nash Holdings bid ended. 20 minutes later, Nash Holding came in and bid it again. Okay, now why didn't our bid run for 10 days before Nash Holding bid was submitted? Okay, what I was told was because they came in 20 minutes after we did and bid it, they accepted the highest bid that day, which was unfair. You never gave our bid a chance to run. Okay, and like I say, has been conflict of interest because people have called me and told me that certain individuals have called them and talked to them as far as this bidding. Now, my feelings is y'all didn't think we had no money. We got enough money to pay you cash for this ballpark right now, if you will accept it. Okay, I'm just not no knucklehead off the street. I got 2 college degrees. I'm very smart. And my partners are very smart, got college degrees. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it's been almost a year. Actually, I submitted something to you guys last January about renting a park with lease to buy. Okay, you told me you wouldn't do that. So I didn't put anything in writing until last June. There was a couple of guys over here that liked what I said. I think it was Mr. Brissett. That night, he stopped me on my way out. Okay, but as far as I'm concerned, we have been jerked around by certain individuals and everything since this happened.
Superior Cole.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the school board. My name is Susan Perry Cole, and I live within the boundaries of the Nash County Public School System. With me tonight is my friend and colleague, Jackie King, representing the Rocky Mount NAACP chapter. I really want to stop here and make a comment. I want to say how impressed I was by the bilingual Pledge of Allegiance ceremony. I could say a whole lot of reasons why, but I just wanted to make that statement. In an interest of time, I will just make one statement and Jackie will be with me supporting. My remarks tonight will focus on my preferred choice for the proposed new voting districts for board members. I want to call the board's attention to the fact that all 3 proposed redistricting maps reduce voting strength from 4 majority Black districts to 3 majority districts. Under Alternative A, which is the plan I prefer because it best serves the interests of Black communities located in the school system, District 1 is reduced from 50% Black voting age population to 48% Black voting age population. And I'm just going to give you a couple of other reasons why I prefer Plan A. One is because it provides the most stability as compared to the current districts. Further, Plan A preserves key constituent communities of interest across the school system. This factor is especially important to residents of inner city neighborhoods, such as where I reside in Rocky Mount, since these areas have historically been underserved and most excluded in terms of power and positive regard within the Nash County Public School System. Alternative A also encompasses portions of Edgecombe County in 4 districts so that board members representing these districts will reflect the combined interests of children and families residing in inner city neighborhoods in both Nash and Edgecombe. That's all I wanted to say tonight, and I appreciate the opportunity to make these remarks and you're listening to me. Thank you.
Iris Thompson. Iris Thompson. Keisha Cutler. Keisha Cutler. If they're not here, that concludes our public input. The next item on the agenda will be consent agenda, Dr. LaShonda Washington.
There is an item on the consent agenda. Hopefully you all had a chance to read that. At this time, I entertain a motion to approve the item on the consent agenda.
Dr. Washington,
Mhm.
excuse me, you presented this consent agenda? Okay,
It is one item,
all right, so I
and it
think,
has the superintendent's recommendation.
so I think the chair got to make that motion to vote. Was that?
Anybody can make the motion, but you carry the motion
Thank you.
through.
Thank you. Just want to make sure we're following the protocol. Thank you, ma'am.
I'll entertain the motion to approve the item on the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been properly moved by Mr. Bissett, seconded by I'm sorry, giving you a doctor too.
I think.
Ms. Bullock, Sharonda Bullock. Questions or discussions? Hearing none, roll call vote. Mr. Bissett.
Yes.
Mr. Lamb.
Yes.
Mr. Dutton.
Yes.
Ms. Bullock. Sharonda. Dr. Washington.
Yes.
Ms. Evelyn Bullock.
Yes.
Ms. Donovan Tavis.
Yes.
Mr. Ricky Jenkins.
Yes.
Mr. Dean Edwards.
Yes.
Bill Sharp, yes. Next item on the agenda would be, business item is gonna be donations.
And I have one. Dear board members, please accept this request for the following donation. Southern Nash High School Agricultural Program received the following donation. Southern Nash High School Alumni Association donated $10,000 to be used for the Southern Nash High School Agricultural Program. Accept your approval.
Mr. Chair, I make the motion that we accept the donations with great appreciation.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved. And second, in discussions or any discussion or question? Roll call vote, Chris Bissett,
Yes.
Franklin Lamb,
Yes.
Frank Dunton,
Yes.
Sharonda Bullock.
Yes.
Dr. Washington, Evelyn Bullock,
Yes.
Donovan Tavis.
Yes.
Ricky Jenkins,
Yes.
Dean Edwards,
Yes.
Bill Sharp, yes. It has been brought to my attention that there was another person who signed up to speak that was not on our list. So I'm going to ask that we would go back and allow Mrs. Yes, ma'am, if you come now.
What's the name?
Could you pronounce your name for us, please? When you just come up. You're all right.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mumtaz Sheikh and I'm from Rocky Mount.
Thank you.
I'm voting for MAP A, which represents, I think, the best hope for inclusion and fairness. And schools are communities in which children from diverse groups interact in close proximity. And I think that MAP A provides the best mix for this kind of interaction and the best mix for stability. Diversity is strength and diversity is stability. So I'll vote for MAP A. Thank you.
Thank you. Completes part in our error for not having you up there with the rest of the group. Thank you. Follow up on business items. Item 2, personnel recommendations by Ms. Sheila Wallace.
Good evening again, Chairman Sharp, Vice Chair Dr. Washington, and all present board members. The personnel report has been presented and reviewed. On behalf of Superintendent Ellis, your approval of the personnel report with the noted correction is requested.
Need a motion?
Second.
It's been moved by Frank Dunton, seconded by Donovan Tavis. Questions or discussions? Hearing none, roll call vote, Chris Bissett,
Yes.
Franklin Lamb,
Yes.
Frank Dunton,
Yes.
Sharonda Bullock,
Yes.
Dr. Washington,
Yes.
Evelyn Bullock,
Yes.
Donovan Tavis,
Yes.
Ricky Jenkins, Dean Edwards,
Yes.
Bill Sharp, yes. Carried. Personnel recommendation for information only.
No approval needed.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And Nash County, the next item is Nash County Board of Education District 8 vacancy timeline. We have that up there, sir. So of course, as we noted earlier, okay, great. To replace Mr. Silver, thank you, I forgot him already. Yeah, that's my hero, Mr. Silver. So we have put together a timeline to replace that board member. So basically for the District 8 vacancy timeline, we have the vacancy announcements April 5th through the 14th. Letter of interest and resumes are due in April the 18th. Candidate information provided to the board April 20th. The board interviews and make a selection process at our committee meeting on the 25th. And we'll swear in our new member if we have one on May 2nd, our next board meeting. I need a motion to accept that.
Second.
It's been moved by Dr. Washington, seconded by Mr. Lamb. Questions or discussions?
Just a point of clarity, how do you make, vacancy announcement? Is that,
So I would ask Dr. Ellis to.
no, how does the candidate, I guess, declare their intention, come to?
Right. We advertise it.
The directors are giving them the announcement when it's published in the media.
What is that? That's what it's asking.
Yeah.
What a media platform?
How, when someone says, I would like to be considered, how do they go about
So then, go ahead. Your turn.
They would submit a letter of interest and resume.
to central office,
Correct.
not to board of elections?
No,
Correct.
Gotcha.
I would say to the superintendent's office.
typically what we did last time, it was directed right to the superintendent, and he got the information together and we followed the format. Thank you. So you lost me now. Did we carry that out?
Need to vote.
Okay. Votes. Chris Bissett,
Yes.
Franklin Lamb,
Yeah.
Lake Dunton,
Yes.
Sharonda Bullock,
Yes.
Dr. Washington,
Yes.
Evelyn Bullock,
Yes.
Donovan Tavis,
Yes.
Ricky Jenkins,
Yes.
Dean Edwards,
Yes.
Bill Sharp, yes. So we will, Dr. Ellis, we will ask you to follow through with that, please. Next item on the agenda is the Student Services Operations Committee, Dr. LaShawna Washington.
Okay, so there's one item from the Student Support Services and Operations Committee. We met and discussed ways to make our schools safer. From that discussion, the board decided that it was important to make a recommendation to the full board to recommend that staff conduct survey research pertaining to survey research from Nash County Public School stakeholders pertaining to school safety to be used for safety planning for the 2022-2023 school year. At this time, I'll entertain a motion. Is there a second? Second.
It's been,
Carried.
it's been properly moved by Sharonda Bullock, second by Donovan Tavis. Question or discussions?
This is for research, Joan.
This is for
To research.
survey research, correct?
This for approval for the survey.
Right, for the staff to conduct survey research pertaining to school safety to be used for planning for the upcoming 2022-2023 school year.
Chair recognizes Mr. Jenkins.
Long as we, I don't mind having a survey or whatever, but there's gonna need to be a whole lot more discussion if because it's gonna affect personnel and et cetera, but.
So that's what,
She's asked for a
right.
survey right now.
So that's what we were gonna do, is bring all that information back so you can determine.
Any other questions or discussions? Hearing none, roll call vote. Mr. Bissett?
Yes.
Mr. Lamb?
Yes.
Mr. Dutton?
Yes.
Ms. S. Bullock?
Yes.
Dr. Washington?
Yes.
Ms. E. Bullock?
Yes.
Ms. D. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yes, on the survey.
Mr.
Yes.
Edwards?
Yes.
Mr. Sharp, yes. So, Dr. Washington, we will follow through with that. Next item on the agenda is the academic services accountability by Franklin Lamb.
Okay. Letters incentive, Monique Hargrove Jones. Committee.
Vote on them all. Yeah, if you want to vote all. You want to vote all?
You want to vote
Yes, sir. How we gonna do it?
on? Okay. I didn't know what was that.
Have
They're
it?
all different.
Yeah. If you want to, we'll vote them all at one time. Talk about what you want to talk about, Mr. Lamb will.
I think people need to hear this one about.
Okay. All right, yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. So during the committee meeting, it was brought to the committee that for our letters, professional development, which focus on the science of reading, it is a state mandate for all districts in North Carolina. Nash County Public Schools is part of cohort 2 of that initiative. This impacts all pre-K through 5th grade classroom teachers, EC resource teachers, EL teachers, instructional coaches, and NTSS facilitators. So the proposal is to provide a bonus for those staff members completing this training. The training for our classroom teachers in K-5 and the rest of that group is from 140 to 170 hours over the course of 2 years. For our teachers in pre-K, it is over the course of 1 year and 40 hours. So we would pay them a bonus of $250 per unit for that course over the 2 years and the 1 year that they participate.
Any board members have any questions? I entertain a motion to approve the letter of incentive.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Dr. Washington, second by S.
It's,
Bullock.
it's been properly moved in second by Dr. Washington and S. Bullock. Questions or discussions? Hearing none, roll call vote. Chris Bissett,
Yes.
Franklin Lamb,
Yes.
Lang Dunton,
Yes.
S. Bullock,
Yes.
Dr. Washington,
Yes.
E. Bullock, Donovan Davis,
Yes.
Richard Jenkins,
Yes.
and Edwards. Bill Sharp, yes.
Okay, committee also met on CTE local application by Chad Thompson. That was approved.
Good evening. In the committee meeting last week, Mr. Thompson presented the CTE local application. And just to highlight some of the things that were shared, the Nash County Public Schools CTE program continues to provide meaningful experiences for students to engage in career building opportunities for success in grades 5-12. In order to ensure that these programs are robust and that funding continues, the local application planning process has pursued. There is no fiscal implication as that is based on the awarding of the application. The superintendent recommends approval for the 2022 CTE local application plan.
I entertain a motion to approve the CTE local application.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Chambers,
Second.
second by S. Bullock.
It's been properly moved in second. Any questions or discussions? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Yes.
Chris Bishop,
Yes.
Franklin Lamb,
Yes.
Sharon Bullock,
Yes.
Dr. Washington,
Yes.
E. Bullock,
Yes.
Don Davis,
Yes.
Chris, Ricky.
Well, that's a compliment.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
And Ricky Jenkins, and Dean Edwards not here, and Bill Sharp, that's a yes too.
You and one. Summer Scholars Academy 2022.
Mrs. Hargrove Jones will present Summer Scholars Academy.
Good evening again. Also, as a part of that committee meeting, we presented information concerning our Summer Scholars Academy 2022. We are pleased to announce that we will once again this year
be able to offer a comprehensive program for students in pre-K through 12th grade who have been negatively impacted by the effects of COVID-19. The program will run from June 13th until June 30th for our pre-K through 8th grade students. High school students will participate between June 13th and July 21st for credit recovery. There were 2 items that needed to be approved from this Summer Scholars Academy. Part of that is our Read to Achieve summer camp. For that, we must offer a signing bonus for teachers who meet the 3 qualifications as outlined by state legislation. That bonus must be at least $1,200. And also there is a performance bonus for teachers who are a part of our Read to Achieve summer camp of at least $150 for every student who becomes proficient during the course of that camp. So we are making the motion that we approve that $1,200 bonus for signing bonus and the $150 teacher bonus for performance.
Any questions about board members? What are the student qualifications?
Let's
to
back up
enter
real
into
quick. Need a motion, right?
You said any questions?
Yeah, we had the questions doing after the motion.
I make a motion.
Motion by Ms.
It's been probably moved by Ms. Washington, second by Ms. Davis. Now questions or discussion?
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
What qualifications for the students are there to enter in those programs?
We are still narrowing down the qualifications for students. At risk can be in academics, it can be social emotional, different funding sources. One will be at risk due to not being able to transition well to the next grade level. So we are going to use teacher input. We're going to use assessment scores from multiple sources to see which students will qualify for this program, but we have not outlined them.
How
all
many,
the way.
what's the student limitation number?
Well, we're estimating probably depends on how many staff members are interested. I know right now for elementary, we have about 130 teachers who've shown interest. We would like to keep our numbers a 1-to-20 ratio for teachers teaching this class. So we don't want class sizes to be too large. So we'll see how many staff members we have, and then we'll know how many students we can actually serve properly.
From preliminary gauging, how many students do you think will be in this?
Looking at just MOI data and just playing with numbers, we probably have about 2,000 in elementary and about the same probably at the other grade levels. And that's thinking about numbers from the past as well. Any other questions?
No other questions? Roll call vote. Chris Bissett,
Yes.
Franklin Lamb,
Yes.
Blank Dunson,
Yeah.
Sharonda Bullock,
Yes.
Dr. Washington,
Yes.
Evelyn Bullock,
Yes.
Donovan Davis,
Yes.
Ricky Jenkins,
Yes.
Dean Edwards.
Yes.
Bill Sharp, yes. So that motion carried. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Next item on the agenda is the policy committee by Ms. Ebo. Oh, I'm sorry.
Teacher company.
Thank you, Miss.
Do field trip.
Teacher comes,
And field trip.
excuse me, field trip.
I'm sorry.
Good evening again, board members. I stand before you in Mr. Thompson's stead. Last week at the committee meeting, Mr. Thompson asked for approval for an overnight field trip submitted by Rocky Mount High School for Odyssey of the Minds. And the students will travel to Western Carolina in Cullowhee. The superintendent recommends approval for the overnight field trip for the month of April 2022.
Is there a motion?
Second.
So properly moved by Dr. Washington, second by Ms. E. Bullock. Question or discussion? Oh, I'm sorry.
Thomas Bullock. Thomas Bullock, easier.
Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Chris Bissett,
Yeah.
Franklin Lamb,
Yes.
Lang Dunton,
Yes.
S. Bullock,
Yes.
Dr. Washington.
Yes.
E. Bullock,
Yes.
Donald Tavis.
Yes.
Ricky Jenkins.
Yes.
Dean Edwards, Bill Sharp, yes. I think that concludes yours, Ms.
Teacher compensation models and advanced teaching roles compared to grant.
That's
Ms.
true.
Francis Smith.
You can be yourself.
Ma'am.
That's good.
Last week, I stood before you and shared with the Academics Services and Accountability Committee how enthusiastic I was to share with you the awarding of the Teacher Compensation Model and Advanced Teaching Roles Grant. In the essence of time, I'll just recap the most important parts. We applied for the grant in September of 2021. We were notified in February that we were awarded the grant for approximately $1.3 million. Schools who will actually implement the advanced teaching roles next year will be Inglewood Elementary, Williford, Winstead Avenue, Edwards, and Parker Middle School. In 2023-24, we will expand the model to 9 additional schools, and in 24-25, we will expand the model to 9 more schools, making it a grand total of 23 schools. In addition, we have partnered with Public Impact, and we will bring opportunity culture to our district. This was extremely important to us to ensure that we were competitive with our surrounding districts. Also, it's a way to retain our great teachers and also make sure we can recruit high quality teachers as well. I shared with you that there will be 3 roles that teachers can apply for. Those roles are multi-classroom leaders, team reach teachers, and master team reach teachers. And for our high-flying teacher assistants, they can apply for the reach associate position. Furthermore, I shared that the NCPS teacher career ladder can range from an additional $20,750 for some of our teachers, and it can be as little as $6,050 for some of our teachers. Please be cognizant that these stipends are based on Title I designations, and our Title I schools are in 3 tiers: Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. And also, we are providing an additional stipend based on the attrition rates. So for a school with the teacher attrition rate over 15%, it's an additional $1,250. For a schools whose attrition rate falls between 10% and 14.99%, it's $1,000. And for schools whose attrition rate falls between 5% and 9.99%, it's an additional $750. I also shared what the models could look like. The superintendent recommends approval of the teacher compensation models, as well as the contract with Public Impact for $191,900. Are there any questions?
We'll entertain a motion.
Right here. Second.
Questions or discussions? Just want to say one point. Thank you so very much. It's well deserved, well earned. You guys have worked real hard to try to get our teachers where they need to be. One small step for education right now, one giant step for Nash County Public Schools.
And most importantly, our students.
Our kids. Absolutely. Thank you. Roll call vote. Mr. Bissett?
Yes.
Mr. Lamb?
Yes.
Mr. Dunton?
Yes.
Ms. S. Bullock?
Yes.
Dr. Washington?
Yes.
Ms. E. Bullock?
Yes.
Ms. Donald Tavis?
Yes.
Mr. Ricky Jenkins?
Yes.
Mr. Dean Edwards?
Yes.
Bill Sharp shares. Next item on the agenda is Policy Committee by Ms. E. Bullock.
Board members, in your package, we had a listing of 5 policies for first read. I move, Mr. Chair, that we approve these 5 policies for first read and that they lay on the table for 30 days.
It's been moved, can I get this by Ms. Bullock? Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Bullock, second by Mr. Lang. Questions or discussions? Hearing none, roll call vote. Chris,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Lang,
Yes.
S. Bullock, Washington, Dr. Washington, E. Bullock, Donna Tavis,
Yes.
Ricky Jenkins,
Yes.
Dean Edwards,
Yes.
Bill Sharp, yes.
Should I go on?
Yes, ma'am.
Secondly, we have 13 policies that have laid on the table for 30 days. And I make a motion that we approve these policies.
Second.
It's been properly moved by Ms. Bullock, second by Mr. Lang. Questions or discussions? Hearing none, roll call vote. Chris Bissett,
Yes.
Franklin Lamb,
Yes.
Lang Dunston,
Yes.
S. Bullock,
Yes.
Dr. Washington,
Yes.
E. Bullock,
Yes.
Donna Tavis,
Yes.
Ricky Jenkins,
Yes.
Bill, Chris, Dean Edwards, and
How
Bill
many names do I
Sharp.
have?
Yes. You got 3 days tonight, dude.
4. I got one for you.
You got one. All right, so it's been probably moving carries. It's approved. Next item on the agenda, administrative service. The first thing we're going to bring forth is Adam regarding the redistricting.
Good evening, board members. This should be very brief. You all know that you have now completed the redistricting process at the committee meeting last week. The Administrative Services Committee unanimously recommended alternative A to the full board. We've prepared a resolution to reflect your potential adoption of alternative A. And I think, Mr. Chair, at this point, that resolution would be in order. I'm certainly happy to answer any questions if there are.
Okay, with that, I need a motion.
Right here. Plan A. Second.
It's been properly moved by Dr. Washington, second by Dominic Tavis. Questions or discussions? Hearing none, roll call vote for Plan A. Chris Bissett,
Yes.
Frank Lamb,
Yes.
Lang Dunk,
Yes.
S. Bullock,
Yes.
Dr. Washington,
Yes.
E. Bullock,
Yes.
Donovan Tavis,
Yes.
Ricky Jenkins,
Yes.
Dean Edwards,
Yes.
Bill Sharp, yes. So it's unanimous carry. Could you forward that to that file to
Yes,
the
sir.
Board of Elections,
We will.
please?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. The next item on the agenda, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, let me just jump over to the budget amendment, Ms. Whitman.
Members,
Good evening.
I'm just here on behalf of Dr. Ellis, to ask that you approve the board amendments that were submitted in the committee meeting. Does anyone have any questions concerning those?
Let's do a motion first, please. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve budget amendments.
It's been moved by Mr. Lamb, second by Ms. Davis. Questions or discussions? Hearing none, Chris Bissett,
Yes.
Frank Lamb,
Yes.
Lang,
Yep.
S. Bullock,
Yes.
Dr. Washington,
Yes.
E. Bullock,
Yes.
Donovan Tavis,
Yes.
Ricky Jenkins,
Yes.
Dean Edwards,
Yes.
Bill Sharp, yes. Thank you, Ms. Whitman.
Thank you.
I appreciate all your hard work. Next person on the item is Shannon Davis. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 items from Mr. Davis. We're gonna take 3 of them at once. We're gonna do the last one by itself. So the first one, we're gonna have a discussion around Mr. Davis is basically Northern Nash High School HVAC, Northern Nash High School weight room, and Southern Nash windows.
You want me to go back through those
Just
three?
quickly, just brief.
Okay, the Northern Nash High School, again, we had a pre-bid meeting in March. We had Southern Pipe and Mechanical Heat Transfer, on Heating, and Carolina Commercial Systems. They all submitted bids. Carolina Commercial System was $213,514, funded through the ESSER stimulus funds. Superintendent recommends this project be approved to Carolina Commercial Systems of North Carolina for $213,514. The second one was at Northern Nash as well. This is weight room and adjacent classrooms. Pre-bid also in March. We had SPC Heat Transfers, Carolina Commercial Systems submitted bids. This is also an ESSER funds funding. Superintendent recommends the project be approved to Carolina Commercial Systems in the amount of $164,580. The last is Southern Nash Middle School window replacement. This pre-bid was also conducted in March for windows in the 2, 3, 5 and cafeteria. We had Carolina Classic Windows and Glass and L.A. Downey and Son. L.A. Downey and Son submitted the low bid of $663,834 as shown on the attached bid document. This is also ESSER stimulus funding. Superintendent recommends this project be approved to L.A. Downey and Son for $663,834. Any questions?
So we need a motion on the floor to approve those 3 items.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly moved by Ms. Lamb, seconded by Ms. Chavis. Questions or discussions? Hearing none, roll call vote. Chris Bissett,
Yes.
Franklin Lamb,
Yes.
Blank Dunstan,
Yes.
S. Bullock,
Yes.
Dr. Washington,
Yes.
E. Bullock,
Yes.
Melvin Chavis,
Yes.
Ricky Jenkins,
Yes.
Dean Edwards.
Yes.
Bill Sharp, yes. Thank you very much. So yes, the motion carried. Next item and final item on our agenda for the administrative service is the sale of the Rocky Mount Baseball Stadium.
Okay, the baseball stadium was approved for surplus by the board last June, and it was offered to Nash County Board of Commissioners for the right of first refusal per the general statutes. Nash County Commissioners did not wish to purchase this property. The process chosen by Nash County Board of Education to surplus the property was voted and approved to use the upset bid process. Once the process was concluded, William Scott Roberts submitted the final bid of $76,792.40. Funds from this sale will be placed in the capital outlay fund balance. Superintendent recommends the sale of the old Rocky Mount Baseball Stadium to William Scott Roberts in the amount of $76,792.40 as presented.
Make a motion that we approve superintendent's recommendation.
Second.
It's been probably moved by Mr. Lamb, second by Mr. Dunton. Question or discussion? Roll call vote.
I think justice would be served if we tabled this vote until we have gotten some additional information, particularly the information that I've asked for and in the format that I've asked for it, so that we can better appreciate what actually transpired with this transaction, so that we can be fair to all parties.
Any other questions, discussions? So we do have a motion on the floor. Roll call vote for the motion on the floor. Chris Bissett,
No.
Franklin Lamb,
Yes.
Mike Dunton,
Yes.
Sharonda Bullock,
No.
Donovan, Dr. Washington,
No.
E. Bullock,
No.
Donovan Tavis,
No.
Ricky Jenkins,
No.
Dean Edwards.
No.
Okay, and I vote yes, because I think we went through that process. So the noes have it. We'll table this motion. Or also that's,
No, we just
No,
voted it
we-
down.
we just voted down. So the next action, what do we do with the next action? Next action, we table the motion. What's the recommendation? What's the desire of the board?
Start the bid process all over again.
I'm fine with that, or get more information and then vote after we get the information. But barring that, then let's start again.
Okay. All right.
I made the point down. I'm almost tempted to make a motion. We fence it in and put goats out there.
Is that a motion? Okay, so I need a motion if we want to restart that bid process over.
I made a motion that we start an upset bid process over again.
I'll second it.
Is that legal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Look, cross them down, right?
I'm just.
So it's been, who made the motion?
Dean Edwards.
Dean Ellis made the motion, seconded by Evelyn Bullock. Questions or discussions?
So scrap everything that we've done and start all over? Is that what, make sure I understand that right?
Yeah.
Chris, I'm just gonna make sure.
That's what the motion is. To start over. Ground zero. Roll call vote, Chris.
No.
I got one question.
Franklin?
No.
Shannon, do you have a question?
I do have a question. If we're doing that, Are we starting it back at the 60? What's the threshold? So that we can properly start this process. We started it at 60 originally. Are we restarting it at 60? Or are we picking it up at the last bid? The 76, 792 was the last bid.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes, sir. Folks, let me ask you guys, refrain, let the chair run. That's great. Thank you.
So the recommendation was voted down, so obviously that doesn't go through. What if you waited till the next meeting when Rod was here? He could help you think this through and start the process wherever the board wishes to start the process. He's much more experienced at this than I am, and I know this is a complicated issue, and I just want to make sure that you restart or move forward at the proper place. So I don't know if you all feel like you need to take a next step right now, you certainly can, but I don't know that you need to. And I think you've taken an action to reject the recommendation and wait till your next meeting and then take the whatever step the board wishes. That's a suggestion.
So
The chair recognizes Mr. Edwards.
can I change my recommendation just a little bit?
Yes, sir. You want to modify the recommendation?
Modify the recommendation, the motion. My motion is that we start the bidding over after consultation with our board attorney.
And my second still stands.
Are you finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's been probably moved by Mr. Edwards and second by Ms. Bullock. Any other questions or discussions? Hearing none, roll call vote. Dean Edwards,
Yes.
Ricky Jenkins,
Yes.
Donovan Davis.
Yes.
E. Bullock,
Yes.
Chris Bissett,
Why you jump around?
Chris Bissett,
I'm still thinking, yeah, I'll go with it. No.
Blake Dunstan.
Is Franklin next?
Yeah, he's next.
Yeah.
E. Bullock.
I said.
Oh, Evelyn, Sharonda Bullock.
We need some big name tags.
Yeah.
No, we need to get some changes.
Thomas Bullock.
Thomas Bullock.
Bullock is easier. Yes.
And Dr. Washington.
No.
And I vote yes. So what we will do is we will get with our attorney, look at the best process to roll that out. We'll do that process at our next meeting, and hopefully we can start this thing and get this thing behind us. So basically, I don't get anything else regarding this process, this selling property. Any other questions or discussion from Mr. Davis?
Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you very
Done a
much.
great job.
Thanks, Shannon.
Next item is the superintendent's report.
So I just want to first thank Winston Avenue for coming tonight. It was a joy to hear all that noise in this boardroom. So I appreciate Land for allowing those students to come tonight. That was fun. Secondly, Mr. Silver, thank you for your service. What Pam Gould didn't mention that you also president of STEP right now. So thank you for your service in Nash County Public Schools. You'll be sorely missed. One also, Pam took some of my thunder, but I did want to recognize Bailey Elementary and Benvenue for their first place and third place finish in the STEM competition. Brick City Challenge, Edwards finished third in the STEM Challenge also on Friday. That was exciting to watch. We've got some video of it. We're going to try to post it on the website. Real nice. Nash County Schools also hosted the Eastern Regional Rally for FFA. I believe there was over 700 students at the Brown Auditorium, which was special to see. It's good to see us hosting those events. And wanted to make sure just to mention that we are definitely doing some great things in Nash County because we were recognized by the state superintendent in the quarterly meeting with superintendents about Nash County schools. So I'm going to toot our horn tonight because I appreciate our staff and what we're doing in Nash County. And the last thing is on Friday, we're going to finish, I believe it'll be round 2 of Special Olympics. So if you get a chance, come to Rocky Mountain High School and see a whole bunch of smiles. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ellis. Chair report. I don't have it. I'm gonna just make mention of this. there is a lot of activity, board members, that's going on within the district. It would behoove us to participate, to go and see. You would make decisions regarding these kids in the district, over 14,000 of them. It was nice to see faces showing up. I know we do certain things to just encourage our kids and teachers and everybody else. I say thank you for all of you guys' hard work. You also, please remember that the superintendent evaluation that was submitted out for it's a free evaluation just to see how it was. It don't have to be accurate. We just want to test out the system to make sure it's working properly for when the real evaluation comes out in the fall. We have debugged that process. So please make sure you fill that out, send it out, and just put it back in, and that'll be great. Also forthcoming, we will be looking at, I've asked Dr. Washington to put together a format for nominating trustees to the Nash Community College. One of the things that we need to know about who represents Nash County Public Schools at various areas. And it was good to see Dr. Honeycutt here last week with the folks that represent the school on the Board of Trustees. Some of us were new faces, and I think it was good to see them introduce themselves, but you will be getting Dr. Washington has worked through that process of working with the attorney group to make sure we have something that's formatted, so we'll know who's on file, who's doing what, and when their time's up. A little bit of information about those folks. That's all I have scheduled. Upcoming events and meetings, policy committee meeting, administrative services and operations, student services, academic services. April will happen on April 25th. April work session is actually May 2nd, and April board meeting will happen on May 2nd as well. And hopefully we'll have that transition with the fulfilling of Mr. Silver's seat. While we can never replace him because he's done a phenomenal job, we look forward to having someone fill his seat to represent constituents in his area. If there's nothing else that will hold the attention of this board,